my head get lost in a memory. Every time I'm my own worst enemy. Feel my whole body heightening. Now your eyes on me, yeah, you're wired in. Buckle up, cause the night gonna ride it. Get close, don't know what you've been told, but it's all mirrors and smoke. We should lose control. Just leave all that pressure, get free. I got all that you need. Can you get on my feet? Push the tempo. Push the tempo, push the tempo. Push the tempo, push the tempo. Don't know what's coming over me. Did my head get lost in a memory? Every time I'm my own worst enemy. Feel the low end rebound ricochet off the walls to your chest, feel it penetrate as it runs right through every vertebrae. So pick up the pace, so you can't be clutching onto the breeze. Better keep it running. I'm on a wave, baby. Are you coming? Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Get close. Don't know what you've been told. It's all mirrors and smoke. We should lose control. Just leave all that pressure, get free. I got all that you need. Can you get on my feet? Push the tempo. Push the tempo, push the tempo. Push the tempo, push the tempo.
Because you do it like me. 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 So she don't know what I'm talking about. You.
we're here. Like I said, last week I started doing it where I just keep you guys on the waiting screen until we can actually go into quali. I didn't really see a need to kind of sit there and just witter on. I have no idea if Sergio's going to be here or not. Maybe he's watching the football, but I tell you this much: this Spain-Portugal game, man, I'm so thankful we've got this F1 race, because that was putting me to sleep. I was literally propped up watching the game, and I was like, wow, if I look at this any longer, I'm actually going to pass out and miss the F1 race. So, yeah, I can't lie to you. The lobby, the fact that we got so many people, here active today is actually, very, very impressive. I did not think we were going to get the numbers that we did, but fair play to everyone involved coming through and getting on it. Of course, Saudi Arabia today, so I'm not going to be, if I'm on my own solo doing this tonight. I don't know if Sergio will pop in after the football eventually ends or not, but I can't really tell you too much about Saudi Arabia other than the fact that it's a very, very, very love-hate track. I think I say that every week now. I feel like there's just a pocket of people with the circuit calendar this season that just hate every other race or love every other race. But it's always interesting because I don't think Saudi Arabia has got like a high kill tally in terms of safety cars and all that noise, but I do think it's very penalty heavy, which is surprising because it is, from memory, a wider track. At least you can say, well, it's Saudi, added on to the fact that he's still got wet conditions turned off because it's glitched. It should be a pretty standardized race here tonight. 18 minutes of quali as per usual. I'm going to move my camera up to the top right as well before I forget to do that, because I will natter on, and then I will forget to do it. So I'll move me up there. There we go. We floated above. We've ascended. Make sure that's all good. He just said to at me as well in the chat and said you'll see a fair few crashes tonight though if there's a goal in the Spain-Portugal game. Well, it smells like a game of penalties, doesn't it? I wonder what will happen if it goes to penalties. Everyone's just going to sit and pause and coast, aren't they? So one of those. Ryan Parker disconnecting out the session again. Not really too much of a surprise. Ryan Parker had massive issues with his PC last week. It looks like those PC issues are going to continue this week. You can see the... let me turn this up as well a little bit. You can see the races or the drivers, shall I say, on the left-hand side there tonight. Lucky Reverse, Got A Lisp, VRL Keiran, Ethan Lester, Ryan Parker, Kieran 19. Man's got Tism, Tiller, VRT, Dylan Evans, Chizzy, Surty, Don Parry, Shadow's gonna Henry, Bobby Leons, Dirty Hippo, CB46, Jamsey, Cons, and Blazer Gun. So for the first time this season, it's taken 3 race weeks, but we have him. Our Season 4 champion, VRL Keiran, steps back in today. He starts off, of course, 2 races behind. He didn't make either race week 1 or race week 2. Puts him in a bit of a disadvantage, to say the very least. I think when you're at the top of the standings, top of the table, you have to kind of be here every race. Every missed race is a missed opportunity. Whether you're winning the race or not, every single point in the end will matter come race week 10. I do think it's a bit of a reprieve because, if I'm not mistaken, I think we head to Baku next week. So this is kind of like the calm before the storm, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check the calendar quickly and confirm that. That's standings. Yeah, so round 4 Baku and then round 5 Mexico. So I think Baku definitely has the highest fatality rate in terms of casualties from safety cars and whatnot, and I think Mexico had a few issues last season as well. So yeah, Saudi does feel like a bit more of a calmer one. It's, like I said, it's a wider track. It's not really one that's got a lot of difficulty attached to it. It does feel like maybe tonight it is going to be about how good or how well you start. You can see the track there in the bottom right of your screen. There's not really anything to be too concerned about, maybe bar the hairpin at one end and the hairpin at the other end. But I don't foresee us having maybe the issue that we had last week or the week before, where, rustiness, because, race week 1, after 3 weeks off, people are a little bit rusty on the wheel. So maybe the first lap is a bit of a calamity. Last week is where you saw it, that sector 1 that Sergio was talking about led to just nothing but death and despair on the track. So I think it's a lot more of a calmer start. I think it's a lot more of a calmer track today. The only thing that maybe will disrupt that calmness is, like Serti said, if Portugal or Spain score a goal. So there you go. And Ryan Parker just showing a screenshot off there that he can't connect to the online services and the race tonight because he doesn't have a EA account. That is what you get for playing sports games on PC. I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. I got no sympathy for anyone playing a sports game on PC, man. You're being way too nerdy about it, honestly. Andrew, good evening to you as well. Said no Sergio as of yet, my man. Maybe he'll be here after the football ends, but hope you're well as well. As we strap in, of course, and take our seats, get ready for a wonderful night in Saudi Arabia. I've got a lot of admin work to do tonight as well when I get off of here, so it's going to be a wonderful night maybe for you. Terrible night for me, absolutely. But hey, part and parcel of it, and pre-season of the football side of things, so it always gets a bit busy. Of course, I think when you're talking about tonight, you're talking about podiums. I'm intrigued to see today how well charged and how well rested VRL Keiran is. As I've said, a lot of people had that kind of rustiness, that unfamiliarity return in race week 1. Keiran has had an extra 2 weeks off. Keiran has not raced in a competitive fashion last week or the week before. So when you add in that 2-week break, as well as the big gap that we had in between seasons, Keiran hasn't had a competitive race in, 5 weeks? So he may be an absolute disaster today. You never know. Like, we've seen Keiran be a disaster before. Obviously not last season. We won the title. We won the championship. Congratulations to him. But I think as well, just having so much of a layoff added into the fact that he's missed the first 2 races, I just don't see at all how Keiran can I think come back into this one and win this first race back. But I have been wrong before, and I would love to be wrong again afterwards. In terms of these snazzy graphics as well, Tiller has upped the production quality. Yeah, let me tell you, I'm going to get these up on the screen for you. We can walk through them together for our championship standing and also our team constructors. So you're going to lose the race on your screen for a brief moment. Don't worry, it's only qualifying. You're not missing anything too dear, are you? It's fine. Let me show you this over here. So, yeah, we'll zoom in a little bit, of course. The Drivers' Championship, Chizzy at the very much summits, exactly where he should be. Multi-time champion, 50 points. Dom Parry just behind him is near rival and I think historic rival, 30 points. So already a 20-point gap between first and second place. Jamsey has had a very strong first 2 races. So has Michael. This is probably the best start I've seen the McLaren driver have ever. Not just this F1, not just this last 12 months, but ever since he's been a driver, a racer in this league. Today looks to maybe make it 3 high-quality races in a row. If Michael can finish in the top 3 of this season, that would be such an achievement. It really would. I think tonight you've got to be looking at Benchhorn, you've got to be looking at Bobby Leons, you've got to be looking at Henry, who had a good race last week, as people that can impress us. CB46 is always so phenomenal as well. Marcel, the German, coming back into the race grid as well after missing last week due to Germany playing. Hopefully a happier night tonight because it won't be at the hands of Paraguay. Sean Tiller, 14th position. He'll be a little bit annoyed with that one. And, of course, Lucky looking to maybe kind of get his first point on the board, as well as Keiran 19, Ryan Parker, Tism Jacob, and so forth and so forth. But, yeah, for Keiran, he'll enter tonight. He'll try and get on the grid tonight. And he starts off with a 50-point deficit. Like I said, it's going to be one great comeback if we talk about VRL Keiran, race week 10, securing and defending the championship. I just feel like 2 races out is just so much of a handicap considering how well Chizzy has started, and he knows how good Chizzy is as well. Look at the team constructors though, a bit more tighter. Red Bull, you can see there, if your eyes aren't good, don't worry, got you covered. Red Bull at the top here with 72 points, where Audi are just behind them at 46, McLaren just behind them. I said this before, man, the way that the McLaren have started the season, whether it be Michael and Marcel or Michael on his own last week, there's been a real kind of big shift of belief that maybe they could go and push for this team constructors. I mean, listen, the Red Bull's tricky. All right, let's not mince our words. Chizzy and Jamsey in that Red Bull is a very dynamic duo. The Audi as well. Dom Parry, I think, will be itching tonight to get closer, to get tighter to Red Bull, but also put a gap between themselves and the McLaren. It's a question mark still about this Ferrari partnership. Henry and Sean Tiller, only 11 points there. The Williams have 8, the Racing Bull of 4, and of course the Cadillac, the new team, in with 2 so far. But alas, this is only 2 race weeks worth of data. We have our 3rd race week this evening in Saudi Arabia, and there's a lot of potential in this track, absolutely. Spain 1-0, Spain 91st minute, Arsenal icon. Are you telling me it was Lord Mikel Moreno? Is that who it was? I'm checking. It bloody was. It was Mikel Moreno. There you go. Was it a header? Did he do the golf celebration? At least I would have to worry about the potential of drivers crashing during a penalty shootout, don't we? So there you go. So if you aren't watching the Spain game and you're listening along to the commentary, Spain and Mikel Moreno in the 91st minute of play have seemingly just put Ronaldo out and put Portugal out. And I think for any, side conversation on football, I think Portugal fans will probably, in the deep end, in the big picture, be happy with that, because the sooner they get Ronaldo out of that team, mate, the absolute better. I don't care what Portugal fans have got to say about, he scored this goal and that goal in the Nations League. You got to get Ronaldo out of the team. I think Portugal are way more likely to win a major again if a 41-year-old ball hog is out of the starting 11. So if he is retiring from internationals, probably a bright future ahead for Portugal again. But there you go. Well, listen, of course, 8 minutes left still of qualifying. And, of course, right now, Bobby Leon setting the tone nicely over 129.3. Just behind him, Keiran showing no signs of any rust, 129.401 as things stand. A half second, though, nearly between him and Chizzy. 129.4 to a 129.9. Michael carrying on his fine form with a 130.2. You would think, though, there'll be a couple of these guys that set up some dangerous times in the kind of minutes coming. I think a lot of people may have kind of sat in the pits, watched that Spain goal, and now going to try and get out and get a lap in sooner rather than later. But yeah, that's so far a really, really interesting season, no doubts, and so far a season in which I think VRL Keiran is probably going to need to perform miracles if he wants to come back in and do well here tonight. As well, keep your eyes on all VFL, because there's so much stuff happening in the next couple of weeks as well. The FIFA season for the final kind of regular league season begins on Friday. You got the VFL UFC league back as well. That's been going crazy. The VFL Madden League is kind of reaching the end of its Madden 26 cycle. There is just so much stuff gaming-wise happening right now. That's it's filling the summer up with something. You got something different on every single day. We gained another person in the lobby as well. 22 now in the lobby. I believe, if I can just see who it was. Maybe it was Cons. I don't remember seeing Cons, but maybe it was Man's Got Tism. I don't know. But we've gained another one. So 22 in the lobby as things stand. And that is a great turnout. For a night where there's football on, that is an absolutely smashing turnout. So big up yourselves as well, fellas. A really top draw effort indeed. Absolutely. Of course, I think this... I don't like to say this as well. I would have loved to kind of pick Sergio's brain on this, but I tell you, the one person I would have liked to see kind of have another race that is credible tonight is Cons. I think we talked a lot about Cons and how the improvement is so obvious from him compared to his first race. I remember sitting back here with Sergio months ago now watching Cons 10 race, and I remember Sergio telling me off stream he just doesn't think Cons would ever kind of really cut it in the in the league, because there's just such a big gap of quality. And now look at the guy. Yeah, he's not winning races. Yeah, he's not getting podiums, but that's a one battle at a time. This guy is now no longer finishing in the bottom two every single week. This guy is now putting a real good fight in the middle of the pack. So I like it. I've always said this. It doesn't matter what game it is, whether it's UFC, F1, Madden, FIFA, whatever. I just like to see guys coming in, persisting and improving. And I think he's definitely one of the most improved drivers that we'll see, not just this season, but maybe for the rest of this game title. Absolutely. I want to see that same kind of thing happen, though, for Lucky, for Reverse, for these other guys that are coming in and having their kind of first taste of VFL F1. So it's a long way to go in terms of to kind of get that consistency and that rhythm and that quality. Just got to stick it out, got to put your ego at the door. You just got to stick it out. That's all it is. So thank you as well, Swanee. Appreciate it, man, for the prime. I know this is more of your cup of tea, mate. I know it is. I know you're a big Formula 1 expert. I'm just going to give you the most vague, blasé commentary in the land, mate. I usually have my race analyst, my race nerd, as I like to call him, in Sergio, but I think he's watching the football, so I'm riding solo tonight here in Saudi Arabia. It's fine, though. The Saudi Arabia pay is fantastic, yeah? Get a couple of banknotes in my fucking bank account from the sheiks. We'll be happy. We will. 4 minutes to go until the qualifying period is over. We may still even get one or two more joining in at the business end. So, yeah, we'll see. I think as well, Yeah, okay, I think they're just talking about Ryan Parker and when he got disconnected because of the EA account issue, it's retired him from qualifying. So I don't think Ryan Parker's going to be able to set a time here tonight, which is a shame, but ultimately Ryan Parker's good enough. I think if Ryan Parker starts at the back of the grid, he can still end in the points tonight. But, yeah, right now, interested to see what the times are set. We can look up as well. Bobby Leons with 129.0. Keiran with 129.4. Chizzy with 129.9 still. CB46, just Pip and Michael, a 130.003. So you can't get any tighter to the 130s than that, can you? It's excellent as well. Shouts to Ethan Lessiter as well. I think Ethan's come in and raced a couple of times, once or twice, but said he's here tonight. Spot opened up in Saudi Arabia, so he was never going to say no. Dom Parry as well, just behind him, will be one of the danger men. Absolutely, positively. A shame to not see Surtees stick to the mean tonight. No intermediates coming out for the qualifier. Maybe he means business today. I guess we'll have to see. Surtees meaning business. I don't know if that is a statement that I'm too comfortable with, but yeah, what can you do? What can you do? Of course, as well, the big thing to keep your eye on is maybe going to be the start of the race. As we discussed already a little bit earlier on in the conversation, you see the map there at the bottom right of your screen. For me, it's just that it's that tight hairpin at the north and then that kind of more looser hairpin at the south of the map, or the track, so to speak. I think maybe tonight you won't be seeing any collisions or any craziness on the first sector, but as we get maybe towards about halfway through the race, you will maybe start to see a little bit more tightness around that kind of bottleneck at the top. So, yeah, absolutely, very much the case. And I think, yep, there you go. I've got people giving me updates. If you care and you're not watching the football tonight, Spain have indeed just won. So there you go. Portugal are out. It looks like it would be, what, Spain probably versus America, since they're cheating bastards. I think I wouldn't be too surprised to see that be the confirmed, what is it, quarterfinal? Yeah, quarterfinal. And then I think, what is it, whoever wins out of that would play England or Norway. There's a possibility it would be, if all hell freezes over, you'd see a USA versus Norway semi-final. How funny would that be? How funny would that be? Of course, minute and 53 to go, so if people are still trying to connect in, if there are, because there's still 2 seats left, if there are people starting to, you know, get a little bit panicked and want to connect in, make sure you do so in the next couple of minutes. Get a lap down and said join in tonight. Said Saudi Arabia is a fun track. Absolutely is. One where whether you're a veteran or a beginner, you can get involved in and dip your toe in. So, yeah. For now, though, Bobby Leon's looking like the unstoppable man, looking like the fastest man out there. And he will absolutely take that. This is the thing. If I was playing and I was qualifying, I would take it as a bit of a boost. But people have said to me before, well, you know, qualifying doesn't really mean too much. It's not exactly something you can get too happy about, finishing first in quali. I mean, in fairness to them, they are right. How many times have we seen VRL Keiran finish first in qualifying and then, what was it, you know, 5 minutes into the race, this guy, you know, darts into a crowd of civilians and then ends up exploding his car and has to kind of quit for the evening. So, yeah, it's not really everything to latch your hope onto, but I suppose, you know, every positive is going to be one that you can lean on. So yeah, 30 seconds to go. Surtees as well, saying that's his lot for tonight, and obviously he will start around about 16th in the qualifying grid as well. Just checking DMs, make sure stuff. It's well tonight as well. If anyone needs to be invited back to the session, I don't know what to tell you, because I think usually Sergio is the guy that everyone adds. I don't even know how to check my friends list on F1. I'll be completely honest with you. But if you can join off me, I am appearing online. I think only the Xbox guys that will kind of relate to. So hope and pray is my only response to you if you can't. But yeah. Next kickoff is at 1 o'clock in the morning as well, so we should be, well, we will be absolutely fine. Game's over. I saw Dave. I saw. Battery usage will be huge on this track. Yeah, Swanee, I think Andrew said it earlier on. Management of the battery, especially with this new update, especially with how important battery management is and so forth. I think especially on that update nowadays, it will be an intriguing one. Strategy is going to be a massive part of it. Hopefully I'll be in the next race as a reserve. Can't wait. I'm counting down the days, Andrew, to see you on the grid. I would pray for you that it's not next week when we head to Baku, mate, because like I said, I think before you got here, Baku for VFL is the biggest death match, is the biggest graveyard, is the biggest boneyard ever. That's the most death that we ever see on a track is at Baku. So, yeah. Haven't had a chance to play yet, so we'll see how much has changed. I think there's one thing that has changed, Swanee, is that Michael can't even put on wet conditions anymore because there's some sort of like bug or something with the wets. So, yeah. EA Sports, it's not working fully. But we haven't had any game-breaking issues yet. So that's the only positive you could take. Bobby Leon's in the end. Look at that, finishing with a 1:28.8. He is fast as lightning, boys, I tell you. I need to start practicing more. I'm so ass. Hey, listen, there's a large spectrum of quality. Reverse. Don't put yourself down, man. There are some kids in here that are fast, mate. So don't compare yourself to anyone. Just aim to do better than, you know, your previous finish each week. That's what you can do. Remember, you start comparing yourself. What is it? Comparison is the thief of joy, fella. You know, you start comparing yourself to a Dom Parry that's been doing this for 5 years, a Bobby Leons who's just damn quick, Keiran who's the champion, the reigning defending champion. You'll have a terrible time, fellas. Of course, if you're racing tonight and listening along, as per usual, please do not ready up until Michael gives us the go-ahead. Of course, I'll give you the verbalization of what time that will be. But, yeah, said, please do not ready up until that time. It is 10:10 p.m., okay? Michael also saying if Ryan Parker can't control his car, he will at everyone again to restart. So, touch wood, that doesn't happen.
One time for the gringos.
And we'll pray. But yeah, please do not ready up until 10:10 p.m. please. And thank you as well, Dawley, for the follow. Appreciate you coming in. You just joined us pretty much at the most perfect, ideal time because qualifying's done. We're just getting everyone a chance to get their strats in, and then we will be heading out there for our official race tonight. So, yeah. Absolutely. Let's see if Ryan Parker, of course, as well, can control his car also. And again, next week we're in Baku. I tell you, that's going to be a really important track. That's going to be a really important performance, yeah? If Ryan Parker just made a funny, he said, unfortunately, I am sat in the seat. So, looks like maybe Ryan Parker is going to be fine. But yeah, it's going to be a really important performance next week in Baku if VRL Keiran can win today. If VRL Keiran pulls out a victory on his return after 5 weeks out, 3 weeks of preseason, missed the first 2 races, if he can come in and he wins here tonight in Saudi Arabia, as long as he can keep his head next week in Baku, maybe he's going to cut that lead down for the championship. So for now, we're just in a little bit of a pause as the drivers are getting their setups tweaked and adjusted, and then we'll be heading and seeing lights out happen at 10:10 p.m. I did do some racing yesterday with the AI, and if you tap the boost and turn it off, it keeps using battery then slowly stops. So there you go. You found a game-breaking EA bug glitch already. EA Sports, it's in the game, Andrew. There you go. Nothing ever is too surprising with these wonderful games. Never. Applying with one hand to a DM is impossible. But yeah. Okay. Fantastic. That's that answered as well. All right. $1 billion company, by the way. Absolutely. And they'll never let us forget it. Because they put microtransactions everywhere. Even put them in college football to level up your coach. Terrible, can I just say. Horrific. Honking of ass. All right. Well, Michael is typing. And let's see what we get here tonight in Saudi Arabia. Do not ready up yet. Let's see what he's saying. Should have raced keyboard and mouse, says Michael. Dude, could you imagine racing on keyboard and mouse, by the way? W to accelerate and then just get your fucking mouse flipping left and right. Dear Lord, you'd be having an absolute nightmare. Would have been better off with a joystick. That's funny. At least everyone's in good spirits tonight, man. At least everyone's in good enough spirits, at least. Alright. Well, it should be any minute now. And there we have it. We're out on the grid. So, Saudi Arabia tonight, race week 3 tonight, is officially up and underway. Best of luck to all of you tonight. Have a fun race. Have a clean race. And let's see who comes out on top. So far, as I said... Oh, no, there has been... I'm amazed that someone has clipped and spun. It seems like it involved Lucky, Hippo, and Bailey in reverse. Oh, yeah, look at this now. Ryan Parker is having an absolute nightmare of a time. Or it's reverse having a nightmare of a time, excuse me. Ryan Parker's got away from that, so reverse in the end was the one that's had the absolute stuffing knocked out of him. For now, hoppable Henry, of course, racing out of the Ferrari tonight. Had a fantastic race last week, didn't he? Definitely a much bigger improvement in terms of his performance from race week 1. However, tonight, like I said, I feel like Saudi is not a track where you can really do too much wrong on unless you've never raced Saudi Arabia before. It's more about what can you do, what kind of strategy do you impose to get overtakes, because I do recall Saudi Arabia being a track where often rather than not you found it very difficult in our competitive environment to secure consistent overtakes. Once someone that is so dominant at the top like a Bobby Leon's had control, he never really lost control, and I think that's going to be a big factor tonight. For now though, first lap of the evening, Henry there in third, Keiran in second, Bobby Leon's in third. Let's go a little bit further on down the grid as Shadow's Gunner here, looking to go for the overtake on Jamsey. Look at this free wide here as Jamsey trying to peek forward. Look at this, it's getting really, really interesting. So I love the start of a race because you can just see all the individual battles starting to develop. And I think if you're someone like Bobby Leon's here, just nothing but clean air behind you, mate. That is what you want to see. Don't be involved in the riffraff whatsoever. Shadow's going to here chasing on down the Red Bull stack, isn't he? Want to kind of split that into a Red Bull sandwich, be the Mercedes in the middle. It's all about top 3. That's the thing. Even if you know that you're maybe not going to be the guy to catch Bobby Leon's, just getting the points, racking up the points, such an important, piece of talent to do. I've seen drivers before, they have one bad lap, one bad sector, and they're instantly retiring and not wanting to kind of continue. Look at VRL Keiran a couple of seasons ago. Stuff like that will cost you championships. It's about persevering. And right now, Shadow's Gunner is trying to persevere in overtaking these Red Bulls, but he's not having a lot of success, is he? Just pulling ever so slightly away. And look at that now, the VRT Dylan Evans zooming on by him. Shadow's Gunner going to have to maybe try to start and think about ways to cut that gap down. We'll sit on board with Dylan Evans, of course, who, again, phenomenal driver, consistent driver. But I think he's due a race win. I say that. I believe in his talent enough. Keiran and Henry here having a bit of an exchange as the battle for second is also starting to heat up again. And rightfully so, as you see here with the tyre compounds. A lot of mediums on there tonight. Out of the 22 drivers on grid, only 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 have gone with hards. So indicates that maybe you're going to try and push yourself early and then kind of coast in the kind of middle part of this race in Saudi Arabia tonight. Bit of an overtake there. Cons there with the first 3-second time penalty of the evening. Multiple warnings. As I said, it's not really a track known in VFL for safety cars, collisions, crashing and burning, but more so for penalties like that. Multiple warnings. I think we had one for corner cutting, I think a season or two ago. For now, though, keep on going down the grid. And what have we got? We've got Michael there, of course, one of the great prospects of the season so far. Had a fantastic opening 2 weeks, but he's got CB46, the prospect, the young kid that I believe really does have a bright future ahead of him. Not had the nicest starts to the season, though. Race week 1, he had to retire mid-session because I think that was during the heat wave, and his internet, his router, looked like it was legitimately melting. This guy was zipping and zooming, floating and ghosting all across the track. Caused an incident. He held his hands up. He apologised. He didn't mean it. Didn't mean to put anyone in a bad mood, and it wasn't his fault. It was just his internet couldn't handle it that day. Since then, came back in last week, looked more so like his old self, and now tonight we'll have to compete with a big pack of drivers here, because I mean, you look at this kind of distance between 10th and what is that, 6th, 7th? Yeah, about 7th and 8th. I mean, it's very, very tight. So the battle for points very much on. Keiran 19 there as well, looking for his first point of the season. He's in the Aston Martin, also a part of that train, which involves CB46, Shadow's Gunner, and also Michael Tiller as well in 12th position, one of the underperformers now of the last couple of seasons. Don't mean to bag on Sean Tiller. Big fan of the Ferrari. But questions have to be asked. When is he going to return to that excellent form that we used to get excited about when it came to the Northern Irishman? It just doesn't seem like he's got the I don't know, the motion anymore to kind of finish in the top 4, the top 5. There was a point in time where Sean Tiller was kind of up there with the podium conversations. No longer is that the case. Keep on going down. Of course, Tiller there on his own. There's a big gap between Tiller and Manscott Tism. Bailey there with a 3-second penalty there for corner cutting, as we said. Not uncommon in this track. Blazer Guns as well had a really, really tough one last week. He was on the verge of saying, I am done for the season, but calms down, he cools down, kind of settles down, and now back in here tonight in 14th position. Looking maybe to just have a clean race. I don't think for Blazer Guns tonight it's about finish position. I think it's just about proving to himself that he can sit here and he can get the track nailed, and then he can race clean and he can kind of avoid contact while also getting overtakes. I think it's definitely a thing, because he was absolutely given the poor side of the stick last week. You look at some of the moments where he was effectively crunched and scrunched by people. No wonder he was a little bit hot under the hood, but what can you say? Surti in 15th, Dirty Hippo. Marcel back after the Paraguayan disaster against Germany. The German disaster against Paraguay last week. 16th as it stands. Definitely Michael doing the heavy lifting for him there. However, he is staring down Sean Tiller and Surti. Ethan Lessiter there with 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Again, not too shocked with that one. For now, though, keep on going down. Cons 10 as well, right behind Dirty Hippo. Again, this is you're seeing it, and it's always synonymous with Saudi Arabia. You have kind of like trains all over the grid. You've got like a train at the top end. You've got like a little bit of a separation, a little bit of a gap. Then you've got a bit of a train, a bit of a kind of flow in the middle of the pack, and then you've got like a train at the back end of the grid. So you're always next to someone. I think that's what Sergio said when we had Saudi a couple seasons ago. It's never a dull race because you're always close to someone. You're always kind of exchanging and battling against somebody, which I think is good. I think if I was a regular racer, even though I wouldn't be anywhere near the top, I would want to at least have that kind of personal battle of, I've got to overtake this guy. I've got to try and stake my claim against this guy. Keiran there, reigning defending champion, as I said, back in for the first time this season, and it's a 3-second time penalty for him. So not the start he would want to see. Of course, going back through here, Ethan, Ryan, Parker, Bailey down near the bottom of the grid where Lucky and Reverse currently reside. I wonder if Reverse is mentally recovered from that incident at the beginning of the race. Of course, he was the one that had his soul taken on that first kind of turn, that first sector. It's not about what happens there, it's about how you recover. And right now, 21st indicates that maybe the recovery is still underway. 19 laps to go. He's got plenty of time, doesn't he? Back up to the top of the grid we go then. You can see here We're right back in there with Dylan Evans, Jamsey and Dom Parry. Ryan Parker now also taking a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Lovely overtake there though by Dylan Evans as Jamsey now falls back into 6th place behind the Audis, and that's where teamwork comes in. If you're the Audi in Dylan Evans, is your aim to just kind of hold up, you know, Jamsey and hold up VRL Keiran and give your teammate as much of a boost and much of a lead as possible. Doesn't seem like we're going to see anything spectacular though in terms of upsets and shocks tonight. That kind of top 7, I would say top 8 as well. Michael in 8th place. He deserves to be up there. Like I said, really solid performance the first couple of weeks, but his 7th, his ceiling tonight with the grid getting even better. Like I said, we didn't have Keiran last week. We put Keiran in. I think Michael can hold his hands up as well and say, you know, Keiran is a better driver than me. I accept that. So Michael drops 1 position, and I think Keiran there, has he retired in the pits? I think he has. So Keiran tonight, I believe, has said that's enough for me, and Keiran is out of there. So Keiran's title charge here may well be up in smoke. We've gone back to the old VRL Keiran. Maybe had a bad lap, maybe got a bad penalty, and he's just said, I can't be bothered. And this is the thing, you know, with Keiran, it's so difficult to not bag on him. It's so difficult to not, you know, kind of like go after him, because it's like winning the championship is important, yeah. Winning the championship is important. However, defending the championship, you're only really truly a champion, in my opinion, when you defend the title. And for Keiran, if he's just going to coast this season, if Kieran's just going to say, well, I've won it, I don't really care about defending it, then, you know, is he ever going to win one again? I don't know. 2 seconds. There you go. So I had someone complaining about UFC fighters. Everything's going on always. So, yeah. Okay, well, listen. 8 laps in. So about a third of the way through. My voice is already going. I feel like Harry Kane doing his interview yesterday. Sounded like he was on helium, that guy. With VRL Keiran out of the running, it does now open up a door of opportunity for that podium spot again, which Henry is currently in control of. You can see here, though, Bobby Leon's nothing but space behind him. Chizzy, nothing but space behind him. Henry, nothing but space behind him. First, second, and third, massively split up from the rest. Dom Parry and Dylan Evans, of course, 4th and 5th, but their teammates. There's not going to be a battle there. We'll stick with Jamsey for now. He was going to look to try and... Actually, you know what? No, we'll go down to Keiran and Surtees. There's a bit of... Oh, there's a lot of overtakes and whatnot coming on here, isn't there? Look at this, CB46 and Shadow's Gunner here. Very tight, but Shadow's Gunner just gets the peel on him. CB46, so comfortable as it stands in 9th position. And Dylan Evans and Dom Parry now, one after the other, exchanging positions back and forth. CB now overtakes Shadow's Gunner. Dude, these two are having a really, really nice rivalry here, man. Absolutely. Peels around that right-hand side. As Shadow's Gunner again has got to be very careful on how he approaches this overtake on CB46. Shadow's Gunner has been guilty in previous seasons, not races this season, but in previous seasons, of being a little bit too aggressive on the overtake. Don't want to be giving yourself anything that the stewards will have to look into. Gets the overtake here though on the straight, or does he? Yes, he just about does. CB46 back into 9th place. Surtees and Tism here as well. Another duo that are having a little bit of an exchange, as well as Ethan Lessiter and Keiran. Never mind Keiran, they're going into the pits. Ryan Parker as well, joining them blazing onto another 3-second penalty there for multiple warnings. So far tonight, 9 laps in out of 25, and it is the second retirement. Ryan Parker, who's had PC issues again this week, has seemingly said that's enough for me. So Ryan Parker out, and the reigning defending champion VRL Keiran out. Difficult start for Keiran, and for Ryan Parker, never truly recovered after EA told him that he didn't own an EA account. So, hey, what can you do? Back up here, though, the kind of trio of Dylan Evans, Dom Parry, and Jamsey still sticking to each other like white on rice here as we approach lap 10 of the evening. And of course, the big question mark for me tonight is Audi. Can they keep this? Can they maintain this? Because again, a reminder to what I showed you earlier on, unless you weren't here, you only got here for the main race, but a reminder in terms of the team constructors one more time. Won't put it on screen, don't want to take away from the race, but before tonight's race, Red Bull 72 points, Audi 46, McLaren 41. You've got to make ground on those Red Bulls, and right now the Red Bulls have been split up. You can see that there. Jamsy just behind Don Parry, Michael as well now up into 5th, as we've seen Chizzy head into the pits, so a tyre change onto fresh hards on the way there. 9-lap-old mediums for a lot of the grid. Bobby Leon's, Henry, Jamsy, Michael, CB46, Shadow's going to, you'd think at some point those guys are going to have to maybe make a decision about getting back into the pits and reviewing their strategy. 15 laps remaining. Can you get away with 15 laps on hards? I don't know. I don't think it would be too bad, but you can force maybe 1 or 2 more laps out of the mediums. I think you'll be absolutely A-okay for now. Evans as well. Dylan Evans now coming out of the pits on those fresh hards and immediately getting involved with Manscott-Tism, and everything's got a little bit more spicy back here now. Dylan Evans against Dirty Hippo. Where have we seen this battle before? See it every season, it feels like. Dirty Hippo as well. Marcel keeping himself nice and out the way. It's what Marcel does. Doesn't really kind of show up and have incident-filled races. He just kind of shows up, keeps to himself, and sometimes that results in a 7th or 6th place finish. Other times it results in him finishing around about 14th or 15th position. A recap on penalties as well. I'll give you that since there's a lot coming in now. Looks like this. 6 second on Blazer Guns, 6 on Cons, 3 on Tism, 3 on Ethan, 3 on Kieran 19, 3 on Bailey, and 3 on Reverse 19. So as it stands, clean from the top 7 upwards, and then pockets of cleanliness as well around the middle of the grid. More drivers now beginning to make that decision to pit as well, including Henry in the Ferrari going onto fresh hards. Same with Michael. We'll sit here though with Bobby Leons for now, who's also just come out on fresh hards. So all looking fantastic. I need to clean my PS, shaking my head. Shit, crashed again. I'm telling you, by the way, Reverse, I'm telling you, it is so worth it. If you're not comfortable cracking it open and cleaning it yourself and applying the thermal paste, take your Xbox, your PlayStation, whatever you got, to like a local PC shop. Pay them the kind of 30 or 40 pound, whatever it is, to open it up and clean it. It will make such a difference, brother. I tell you, I got mine done a month ago. When I used to load up F1, my Xbox used to sound like a traction engine. Yeah, it sounded like a Boeing 747 plane was flying in my room. That's how loud it was. Now it sounds like an absolute stealth jet. Sounds like a fucking like an AC, well, not an AC 130, an AC 130 before it starts to launch missiles, mate. It is absolutely quiet as a mouse. Do it. It will absolutely be worth it. You don't want to be crashing in important games like this. I had an incident as well before I got mine clean where I was kind of like disconnecting because it was overheating in a Madden game because there was just so much dust in there. I showed up to the shop, handed it in. I came back afterwards. I said to the guy, take a picture for me, show me how much dust there was. I had not had that Series S opened in 6 years. Showed me the picture. It's like just a cloud of grey like shit all over the internal part of the console, which was obviously making it warm. So trust me, takes like an hour and a half. Drop it off, ask for it to be dedusted, ask for the thermal paste to be reapplied. It's about 40 quid. I think you're in the Middle East. I don't know what the exchange is. Maybe it's cheaper for you, I don't know. But yeah, disappear, go do something else for an hour and a half, 2 hours, come back, pick it up. Right as rain, man. Absolutely. You're able to invite me to the game again. I don't know if I've got you added, bro. That's the only thing. Like, I don't even know if I have you added whatsoever. I can try, but I would need your gamer tag or something because I am struggling. It's usually Sergio that does the invites. So if you toss me, if it's the thing is I don't want to press the guide and then it fucks me out of this, man. I really don't. give me a break in play here as I try and invite Reverse 91 back to the game. This is the stuff that usually Sergio handles, and now I've got to do it. I don't even know what his gamer tag is. Reverse 91X? No idea. No idea what your name is. Sorry, man. Thank you for the tier 1. Appreciate you, but if I can help you, I would. But I don't know what to do here. Not a Scooby. I don't know if you can join. I don't know if you're on Xbox. You can join from me. But you had ads. If you can tell me what your gamer tag is, man, I can invite you in. But I have no idea what your gamer tag is. If you're on PlayStation, it's fucked. Because I haven't even got you added on the EA ID stuff. I'm on PS, sadly. That is a killer. That is a killer. I don't think anyone in the race is... I mean, you could try and see if any of the PlayStation guys like Chizzy are appearing online. To add you like that, though, on the EA thing, man, I've got to go like back into the main menu, I'm pretty sure. So I don't want to back out of the main menu and then lose all the visual of this. Lucky as well is retired in the pits also. So, yeah, maybe try and search Chizzy's name up. Try and search Bobby Leon's name up. See if they are appearing online. You can join off of their profiles. A couple of PlayStation guys there, but I just don't want to risk missing 3 or 4 laps of the race because I'm inviting people in. Sorry, I know it sounds selfish, but it's not really a commentary stream and a watch-along stream if I'm ever not seeing the entire race, you know. For now, Bobby Leons and Chizzy right back up into it with a battle for first position. Big question mark for me as well is when the hell are we going to see Cons 10 and Man's Got Tism and Bailey pit here? 12 lap old hards is the aim, is the mission, maybe to kind of get these one more lap down and then maybe flip onto the mediums for the final 10. I could see it. Just depends if they trust themselves enough with their ability to kind of do 10 laps clean. Again, as expected, 0 safety cars here tonight, but the sheer amount of penalties, 3-second warnings, and so forth have been absolutely rife, haven't they? For now, we'll let Chizzy and Bobby Leons get over and continue to race aggressively. Flick through the grid here, and we've got CB, Michael, and Jamsey all within each other. Bit of a space, though. Is there any kind of close action happening? Everyone's kind of slightly split up. You've got Blazer Guns here chasing down Shadow's Gun and looking maybe to go for a bit of an overtake here, but he goes a little bit wide, and that gives him another 3-second warning. It did feel like he was approaching that really wide, and that'll be frustrating for everyone's favourite underdog here tonight. Henry with a 3-second penalty. That's big, because listen, although there is a gap here, it doesn't beckon the question if Don Parry on mediums can close that gap. Could he steal podium? Maybe. We'll stick with Man's Got Tism. Sorry, with CB46 for the time as well. He was looking to try and perform another masterclass overtake on young Michael. Tiller as well, fan favourite in 15th for the Ferrari. Just no sign of that brilliance from Tiller that we saw a couple of seasons ago when he won the championship, the team championship, should I say, with Ferrari. How long ago that must feel for the Northern Irishman. But I'm still hopeful we can return to the absolute summit one day. I am. I just seen someone ping me, what's your EA ID? I'm sorry, Reverse, if that was you, man. I just don't. The thing is that if I have to invite you, bro, I'd have to back out to the main menu and invite you, and I'd miss like 3 or 4 like races, bro. This is the thing. I think it may well be an idea if Sergio's not going to be here for the odd race, that if we know in advance, just to get everyone to send me an invite or a friend's request and whatever, that way that I can pause and invite you in. But yeah, sorry, man. It's one of those. I can't even join through one of the PS lads. That's a shame. That's a shame. I feel for you as well, Reverse, because you had such a terrible start to the race, bro, with that spin in the first sector. But I guess, you know, just not your lucky night. Quite the opposite. The unluckiest of unluckiest nights. Just when it goes through from 6th and 5th. Okay, Jamsey and CB on the positive side of things, by the way. What a little battle for the entire night they've had. The Williams and the Red Bull so far. I am Lance Stroll, the laughing emoji. Well, we love you. You're our Lance Stroll, damn it. And he's still my boy. Of course, not Lucky's night either. He becomes the 3rd driver of our 22 to wave the white flag of surrender and retire in the pits. Didn't want to perform on my home ground anyway. The fans got too much of you, mate. You know, you're like a celebrity appearance. You come on, you do like 16 laps, you go home. Keep them keen, you know what I mean? One of those. Now Jamsey is really struggling here. I don't know if this is the tracker, if it's just great kind of defense for CB. Well, I'll tell you, that's not great from Jamsey, because that's put him on a 3-second time penalty as well. So that is a large sigh of relief, I think, from CB46, though. Now knows he's even got an extra 3 seconds on top to keep ahead of Jamsey. So, yep, track limits, man. They're going to kill you. Bobby Leons and Chizzy, though. The big two, the big behemoths, the two juggernauts, so to speak. With 9 laps to go, makes you wonder if there's going to be maybe any twists in this one. Dom Parry still in a good place with 3 lap old hards. As is Blazer Guns, but he does have that penalty in comparison to Dom. Don't sleep on Blazer Guns though. If he gets a couple of positions up on the grid, maybe we'll get some points here tonight. But a sloppy kind of exit there from Chizzy, which gives Bobby Leons the 1st place position back. That was really sloppy. That was old man driving almost, you could say, from Chizzy. Very surprised that he's just let that go with such ease. Bizarre. Bizarre. But ultimately, Bobby Leons back in the lead. I'll tell you as well quickly what Bobby Leons is on in terms of the championship, because before tonight it was pretty much a Chizzy and Dom Parry 1-2. So Bobby Leons, before tonight, Chizzy had 50 points, Bobby Leons had 15. So you are going to see Bobby Leons just shoot right up, as you would expect him to do. Such a great driver on his day. He's going to shoot right up and be in that conversation for the championship going into week 4 next week. I said this again. Baku, usually a death match, usually a graveyard of bodies, could end up being such a pivotal moment, a pivotal cornerstone in this Season 5 championship race. As well tonight, again, just a big thank you. I know we've still got another 8 laps to go, but a big thank you to every driver listening to this that is racing tonight. Even with Spain and Portugal on the lobby, a 22 of you is phenomenal stuff. It is absolute top tier. Big thank you as well to Michael, who still puts in the time to host these lobbies and get these fantastic races organised as well. I can't tell if the spin is on me or what exactly. It looks like a steward's opinion tonight. Well, yeah, like I said, just make sure you get the clip, man. You may have a point. I didn't see too much of it. You know, there's so much to watch from my beginner perspective as well. You know, all the cars are bunched together at the start. I'm thinking where to look, where do I put my 4 eyes, man? I don't know. So I had no idea if it was someone coming across you or clipping you or whatnot. It's a big penalty, by the way, as well. Shadow's Gunner in 10th position with the Mercedes has just taken a 3-second time penalty. The only penalty-less drivers tonight: Bobby Leons, Chizzy, Dom Parry, CB46, Michael, Dylan Evans, and Dirty Hippo. Marcel, the German, now very much up into 11th position, and with a 7-lap, countdown to come, he still could finish in the points. I can send you the clip after. I can't lie to you, I watch all of them. If you put them in the if you put them in the clip complaints of the steward section, I usually watch them to try and educate myself on what is or isn't a bad one. So I wouldn't say ask me yet. I would not be too confident in solo judging it, but you whack it in that steward's area, mate, someone will look into it. Mike was pretty bang on with his assessment of stuff, so I trust him infinitely. For now, we'll go through the grid, of course. We know that Bobby Leons and Chizzy are going to be battling all the way until lap 24. Honestly, this is not going to stop, but what else do we have going on down here? Of course, you've got the Jamsey CB46 battle. You've got kind of Michael there, almost like the stalker, seeing both of those two from the distance, trying to join in, try and get himself involved. Blazer guns there with Dylan Evans just minorly in front of him, but we've got a bit of a battle here. Keiran and Dirty Hippo. Hippo, of course, the penaltyless soul in the middle of a heap of drivers with a heap of penalties. What happened with Sergio tonight, by the way? I have no idea. Usually Michael tells me if Sergio is here or not. I imagine Sergio was just probably watching the football, man. It's a big game in Portugal and in Spain, so I imagine he was probably watching the game. I said, before I got on here, I'm happy that the race happened because I was literally leaning back watching the fucking football and it was absolutely horrifically boring. So, if we didn't have this race tonight, I would have probably fallen asleep and missed it myself, so, yeah. For now, Keiran, Surti and Hippo. I've got a little bit of a sequence to have here. We'll sit on Surti, everyone's favourite meme artist. He had a little spell at the Dallas Cowboys in the VFL Madden League. He's now an LA Charger, isn't he? Is he going to charge down Dirty Hippo and take this 11th position back? The game was dead. To go from England, Mexico earlier on this morning to that game was just such like a compare and contrast. Portugal had fuck all to do. I said this before you got here as well, Reverse. I think you need to get Ronaldo out of the team. Ronaldo said a couple of days ago it's 100% this last World Cup. I think Portugal are going to be a threat again. I think he is such a hindrance in that team. You can't freely sub him. You have to play him. It's just too much baggage in a team, you know. Dirty Hippo there overtaking Surti. As we'll go back a little bit further, see what we've got down here. Absolutely nothing. All the drivers split up and separated once again. 5 laps to go then. We'll park ourselves right on Bobby Leon's and Chizzy momentarily. For now, we'll have a look at this Jamsey situation. Still very tight. Jamsey, CB, Chizzy, Bobby all night long for the last 20 laps have been in each other's faces. And then you got Surti and Hippo to add to that list as well. But man's got Tism joining in. Him, Keiran, Surti and Hippo all very much within one another. Same with Roberto Martinez. Well, yeah, the other thing as well is that Portugal are never going to win a World Cup with Roberto Martinez. When you've wasted, that's another 3-second penalty for Ferrari, by the way. It's huge. 6 seconds now for Henry. When you are the guy that had the golden generation of Belgium and you didn't win a damn thing, what the hell are you going to do with Portugal? So I think Portugal missed their answer, man. I think their answer was Mourinho. And I think Mourinho got the call from Madrid and he went. I don't know who you give Portugal to. I really don't. I haven't got the slightest clue who you give it to. Maybe someone like Conte, but again, he's a very short-term manager. Never really done well with Italy, did he? So, yeah. Tricky with Portugal, but that's why I'm a club football guy, not an international guy. Club over country for me, all day, every day. Keiran, I will sit on him as he's getting tighter and closer to Dirty Hippo. Marcel as well needs to pick up the pace a little bit more to get into that top 10, especially with those time penalties ahead of him. I DC, Jamsey, that is gutting. So Jamsey, can I get Jamsey? I don't have you added, bro. There's no point asking me. What do you want me to do, man? That's what I'm saying. Because Sergio isn't here, I haven't got any of you added. Like, if you're not on Xbox, I can't help you. I mean, I'm going to miss the race, but I'm doing it with one hand as well, so excuse the slowness. Well, you are. You're lucky you're on Xbox. If this disconnects me from the race, I'm going to be very pissed off, by the way. Okay, thank God. Sometimes with international management, you don't know the managers anyway. You don't need big names. You just need a sensible manager with a good team. Oh, Cons there is just, I think, retired in the pits. I think that's true, but I think we're basing off of the Gareth Southgate argument. I think for Portugal, they need a young coach to Portugal. I think Ruben Amorim would have been nice for Portugal. I do. But he's taking Milan now. You know? So it'll be interesting. I don't know. They may not even sack Martinez. We're talking like they're going to absolutely go to sack Martinez. I don't think it's a sackable offence to go out in the round of 16 against Spain, who are one of the favourites. You know? I just don't think that's the worst exit. It's not like Germany going out to Paraguay. It's not like one of them. But yeah, I guess we'll see in 2 years' time at the Euros, won't we? I guess. For now, 3 laps to go. Shadow's going to with another 3-second penalty. Let's give you this as well. Recap one more time on the penalties here. 6 seconds for Henry, 3 for Jamsey, 9 for Blazergun, 6 for Shadow's Gunner, 3 for Keiran, 9 for Tism, 3 for Tiller, 3 for Ethan Lessiter, 3 for Surtee, 9 for Bailey, and 3 for Reverse 19. Have you seen Germany sat now because meant to bring in Klopp? I did see that. They instantly have become favourites for the Euros in 2 years. Jurgen Klopp with that Germany team, yeah, that's a scary, scary prospect. As Surtee here has seemingly had his race end tonight. 22 laps in out of 25. He went on softs as well. Didn't get to see Surtee in action in those softs, but we get to see Surtee on the grid at least, which is always a win for the neutrals and the fans. Shame it wasn't on the intermediates though. That's what we're really hoping for. Question marks are still out though. 2 laps to go. The battle of the great two. Multi-time champion Chizzy and the hopeful Bobby Leon's AFC. Can Bobby get an overtake? Bobby led for the majority of this race, keep in mind. Chizzy has only been ahead of him a couple of laps out of the 23 that we've raced so far. An overtake attempted. Oh, that's a tight one. He's going to get it, though. It's great from the inside, isn't it? Chizzy went outside. Bobby went inside. And now we've got our first overtake here in what is going to be the penultimate moments in Saudi Arabia this evening. I can't lie, I haven't watched that England game. I was asleep by then. I was on like 5 hours of sleep combined with 3 days because of the footy tourney that I was in. 3 days with no practice as well. I'm telling you, man, I don't really get up for international games whatsoever. I said in the UFC Discord I'd trade my British passport if it meant that Arsenal won the Champions League. But that was a really good game. That was the most entertaining. That game and the Argentina-Cape Verde game have been, without doubt, clear and far above the best 2 games of the entire World Cup. The screamer that Cape Verde scored, you know, sways it that way. But then the red cards, the penalty, the drama of yesterday was just, yeah, was really good. Only went on today to have a couple of practice races with Keiran and Michael. And it's just a thing, isn't it? You know, it just depends. It just depends how open you are, how, you know, nice your schedule is. It'd be great if everyone had infinite time and you could practice every single track every single week, but sometimes it's just not possible. And especially then when you add in the fact that you've had a horrific start with that issue, with that incident, and then you've disconnected and not been able to get back in. No one's going to sit there and blame you, man. No one at all. For now as well, it does look like Dom Parry is not going to be able to close that gap between himself and Henry. So it may not be bad news for the Ferrari tonight. If Henry can finish in the top 3, despite having 6 seconds of penalties, it's very, very good. I'd wish Cape Verde to win. At least we'd have an easier game as Egypt. Well, there you go. I'm interested to see what happens in USA-Belgium tonight. I am absolutely convinced now, because of all of this like nonsense that the US have pulled and the head loss that Belgium have had in the media, that USA will win tonight. It just screams USA and a Balogun goal. It really does. And dear Christ, the issues that will come if that happens, out of this world. Heading into our final lap here of tonight then. Who do you believe in more? A man that's been there, done it, worn the t-shirt not once but multiple times in Chizzy, or Bobby Leons, who wasn't in the conversation as a title contender last season, but is certainly, after tonight, with 7 races still to go, right up there as one of the names to watch. Right now, 0.6 of a second separates the pair of them. Well, fair fucks as well to Dom Parry, 12 lap old mediums, and still absolutely rocking it. Michael as well. Big shout to Bobby, Chizzy, Dom Parry, CB, Dylan Evans, Michael, and Marcel, Dirty Hippo, for having a clean evening. Like I said, to come away with no penalties in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, absolutely special. It's a special performance from all of those guys. You see the Bosnian football team getting tweeted about the fact that Trump getting involved is a breaking of rules. Well, I mean, like I said, it's a mess, but is anyone surprised? So let's not pretend like America isn't one of the most corrupt countries in the world, mate. You know what I mean? No safety car's not really a surprise. There's barely ever a safety car in Saudi when VFL races here. It's a very penalty-heavy track, not a very safety car-heavy track. But what it does have tonight is Bobby Leons leading the way as our race winner. He's going to cross the finish line, cross the checkered line, and he does bring it home. A new title contender has just entered the fray. Bobby Leons tonight, race week 3, Saudi Arabia GP winner. Congratulations to him. Commiserations to Chizzy, who still is in a great position. Started off the night with 50 points. Bobby Leons was something like 30 points behind him. He still had a good race tonight as Chizzy. Henry, of course, finishing in 3rd position. So that 6-second time penalty does not harm him at all. It's good news for the Ferrari because Tiller had a nightmare once again down there in 14th. Dom Parry followed up by CB46, who's followed up by Dylan Evans. Great night for the Audi. Jamsey in 7th. Michael, another top 10 finish. Another night in the points. This guy is in form. Shadows Gunner in 9th for the Mercedes. Bobby Leons, of course, has DNF, but again, wouldn't worry. We've seen it on our screens. He is going to get 1st position. Nothing to worry about there. Blazer Guns then ultimately will finish in 10th. I think, I don't know, well, 11th, I think, actually. So Marcel and Hippo finishes in 10th. But yeah, question marks on Tiller, man. Question marks on Tiller. What has happened to our once great Northern Irishman that everyone used to love seeing race? Always in that conversation of a top 2, top 3 shout when he used to race about 6 or 7 months ago. But just hasn't been able to have it click this past season or the last season. Ultimately, though, maybe it's just the fact that he's getting older and this grid is getting stronger and is getting younger and more reaction fueled by the day. Welcome to being an OAP, Mr. Sean Tiller. There is your winner, though. Well, that's our false winner. It's the Red Bull, of course. We know, of course, that Bobby Leons won that race tonight. But for Chizzy, for now, while clearly Bobby Leons is at the bar getting pissed up, he'll collect the trophy for him. What an absolute brilliant sport he is. Don't forget tonight, fellas, as well, to submit your clips into the steward section. Any issues, any racing incidents, any silly business, make sure you submit it. It's worth a submission. Even if you get denied, at least you chanced it. Yeah, don't ever not submit something you think is wrong. It can impact your race and the standings massively. Next week we are headed to Baku, and as I said, it is the death match of all death matches. People do not have a good time. People do not survive long in Baku. What happens there, only time will tell. Congratulations again tonight to Bobby Leons, who comes away with a phenomenal race win, and hopefully we'll have Sergio back next week as well to enjoy the demolition derby and destruction that comes with Baku. Take care, take it easy. Appreciate you for the couple of follows and the subs as well, fellas. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Enjoy the USA-Belgian game if you're watching it, and I will see you when I see you at some point this week. Good night. We're out.